So, Aaliyah Boston and Lexie Hull are two players for the Indiana Fever, and they are two of the three Indiana Fever players currently playing in Unrivaled. And, well, two of them had been spotted, working out with the Fever staff. One of them hasn't. And it's looking more and more likely like the Fever at some stage will end up trading Katie Lou Samuelson. I don't know when it'll be. I don't know how it'll happen. But it doesn't look like it'll involve trading Lexie Hull. And people genuinely just read titles of videos and it was like they might have to sacrifice Lexie Hull. And that's the thing. There are three ways of the Fever getting off Katie Lou Samuels. There were three basically options. None of them are good, by the way. Going out with 11 players in a 44-game season, and some people were saying they need an 8-man rotation. If the Indiana Fever have an 8-player rotation through a 44-game season in that amount of time, their entire team's going to get injured. If the Indiana Fever trade to 2026 first, it leaves them in a kind of screwed financially next year unless people start taking championship discounts, which would basically mean they would have to be real good this year for that to happen, or put Lexie Hull in. Clearly, that option is not happening, so don't worry, you're not going to hear the Fever might have to trade Lexie Hull again, because it looks like that is not going to happen. But two of those three players are working out with the Fever. So you can see from this right here. So Aaliyah Boston posts on Instagram, Aaliyah and Lexie getting shots up with Keith Porter. So the two of them are obviously working out with their coaches. And that's the thing with the Indiana Fever. In fairness to them, there's not a bad word said about Keith Porter as a coach. At all. No way they actually found someone to take on the Katie Lou Samuelson contract. No Katie Lou Samuelson. Feel bad for Katie Lou. Would love to keep her, but the contract is so bad. If Katie Lou Samuelson was on 100k a year, not even 180, if she was on 100, which is still an overpay based on her production, no one would have an issue because there's worse players getting paid more. But I will say, Alicia Clark got the Katie Lou contract from them. The Seattle Storm, I'll make a video on this a little bit later. The Seattle Storm are screwed. They're absolutely screwed because I think they planned on starting Jordan Horston and having Alicia Clark as a vet off the bench. Jordan Horston just went freaking tore ACL. They now paid Alicia Clark a near max. They've got no ability to trade for anyone else. But Katie Lou deactivating her IG. She's not getting traded. Yeah. Again, was the least likely of all those options. Love it if Fever send their front office and coaching staff anywhere they need to be. If a team can get better, staff is on a plane. But yeah, it's a real interesting thing. No picks with Stephanie White or Keith with Katie Lou Samuelson. You have to think she's getting traded. The question is, how many draft picks are they going to give up? We don't need draft picks this year. They're not getting her for giving up this year's draft picks. Straight up. Fever getting another second round pick to draft both Lucy Olsen and Katie Van Lith. One, they can't pay them. And two, people don't realize it's someone's like, oh yeah, you can trade her for a second round. No, you're going to have to literally add a first round to get off her contract. This is like Bradley Beal. If Bradley Beal didn't have a no trade clause, for a team to take Bradley Beal right now, they would the Phoenix Suns would have to give up a first round pick. And that was basically what they were doing. They got 3 first round picks and they were for someone to take Bradley Beal's contract, they would have to take all of those first round picks off them. With the Jazz trade for. Madness. And obviously, Stephanie White was there with Lexie Hull. And obviously, Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston's there with Hull obviously working out. But it looks like Katie Lou's gone. It does. It really, really looks like Katie Lou is gone. And that's a huge thing. That is an absolutely huge thing for the Fever. If they can get off Katie Lou Samuelson without giving them their 2026 first, they've done a great, great job. They got that I'd say they probably got that second round pick in the Nalissa Smith trade. Because they're thinking, maybe we can use that to get off Katie Lou. Don't think they will. I don't. There's no other way for them to get another second. It would cost them, I reckon, without giving up a first for Katie Lou, they'll have to give up both seconds this year. a second in 2026, and a second in 2027. I think to get a team to take Katie Lou's contract would take 4 draft picks. And there's no way that they could, for me anyway, there's no way that they could swing it and get a Breanna Mabry. There's no way that they can swing it and get a Tash Cloud. There's no like players available on a slightly lesser deal either. But if you can get off a Katie Lou contract, with the way contracts are right now, if I was the Fever, you're looking at a centre, I'm looking overseas. If you want like a true power forward maybe who can play a bit of the 5, and Izzy Harrison might not be the worst idea. Like if you can get off Katie Lou and then get an Izzy Harrison for 100k, then you can use a draft pick. You can use one of your draft picks when you cut Jaylen Brown. Or you can have a roster of 12. You can use your 2 second round picks. And then if Emma Mason wants to come post post Olympic break, post European Championship break, you can cut one of those second rounders, and with your remaining salary cap, you could sign Emma, which would be an interesting one as well. It's very interesting to see what they're going to do, what the Fever are going to do, how the Fever are going to start the season. I don't know if the Fever are going to start the season with 11 players. It's not a good option. Everyone's saying, they don't go 12 deep. We've seen players that are too reliant on their starters and not depth. What happens? Or teams, sorry. Like the Mercury last year, do we not remember? The Mercury were so down bad for players that they did not have enough. They basically didn't have enough players to play. They had to sign Celeste Taylor, who was not playing basketball at the time. They had to sign Celeste Taylor, fly her to freaking Indiana, or was it Phoenix? They had to fly her somewhere. They sign her, fly her somewhere, and play her in a game that night. It was 6 hours after they signed her. They had her playing a game, and she played 25 minutes. She played more minutes in that game. She played the entire season for Indiana before they cut her. That's how desperate they were, and that's unfortunately what happens. Let's just say, hypothetically, touch wood, nothing happens, but let's just say Aaliyah Boston goes down. The only thing that resembles a centre on this team is Damaris Dantas. You're going to be seeing more of freaking 2022 Mercury Sophie Cunningham at centre. You're going to be seeing more of that. You're going to be seeing Lexie Hull power forward minutes. You're going to be seeing Caitlin Clark power forward minutes. You're going to be seeing, like, that's the thing. If you lose Aaliyah Boston, you're going to literally be seeing Caitlin Clark power forward minutes. You can afford to lose anyone on any of your wings because you have too many wings. You cannot afford to lose either of your picks. But anyway, yeah, that is the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Do you guys agree with this? Do you guys disagree with this? And no, it looks like Katie Lou is not going to be traded. Obviously, the least likely of the picks, 11 players, or Lexie Hull. But it is still an option. It's still a possibility. And if one thing we've learned is that basketball is a ruthless business over the last few weeks. So there is a definite, I'll give it a 1% chance, but there's a chance that Lexie Hull gets traded, but it's about 1%. But anyway, I'll see you guys.